Don't I always tell you this is my favorite, what do I tell you? This is my Hi everybody, welcome back to my knitting channel. Our lights are fixed. Yay. So hopefully we don't lose lights again. Today is episode 97, and this is October Dye Project, which means this I will be revealing my colors for the famous Stephen West's Mystery Knit Along Twists and Turns. I actually dyed 2 different colorways for this, like 10 hanks of yarn, 5 of one and 5 of the other. And the first one I did, I was inspired by some La Vie Animée that I saw on his website or on his video for stuff, and then also on La Vie Animée's Instagram. There were 2 different color kits that were similar, and I was like, I like that a lot, and it came out exactly how I wanted. And the more I looked at it, the more I was like, I don't want it for a shawl. I want it for a sweater. So I've decided I'm not going to show you that today. I'm going to keep them in my pocket for when we do the sweater, and it's gorgeous. But anyway, I totally changed routes midstream. It was so funny because I was scrolling through Instagram just looking for anything, any type of inspiration. Like, I got to come up with 3 colors now. What am I going to do? And I had not night vision, but the night, what is on your phone? Night light, the night light where it makes so you can more easily go to bed. It's like makes everything like, what's the word? It's not so black and white. It's like a different color. So I'm scrolling, and I see this thing that I think is like black and gunmetal gray, and I'm like, oh my god, that's perfect. Oh my god, that's so perfect. But here's the funny thing, like the next day I went to show my husband because I was like, what do you think of this instead? And I show it to him, and they are green. Like shades of green, and I'm like, wow, that's not at all what I saw on my computer last night in the dark. Because I had the thing on, and then I had the contrast, the brightness down, right? Because it was late at night and I'm sitting in bed. So I thought that was hilarious that my inspiration came from absolutely not at all what it was. But I'm super happy with what came out. So I will show you what I did. Talk to you about dyeing that base, which was very different, and I'm going to stick to the second dye because I simply do not have the time to go through 10 skeins of 2 different 3-way colorways, and plus I want to be able to have that fresh and new when we do. I think it's going to be a sweater because the yarn is so decadent. I'm like, this needs a sweater, and it might also need some Surrey silk. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's get into the show, shall we? I'm wearing Woolstock worsted in this is my DK knit top, knit with Blue Sky Fibers Woolstock worsted. Now it is a worsted. It is 150 was 370. Oh my god, I can't do that right now. In the colorway Midnight Sea, but I found the thinness to work up better as a DK. So I worked at a DK, and this was 150 grams. I used the whole thing, so the yardage worked out fine. This is my favorite Peruvian Highland wool. It's on the expensive side, but it is super, super soft, and the colors are nice. It's a dark teal, which looks black. It's fantastic. I love it. I do have like 3 more colors. I have a black that I think is like grayish, and then I have a red And then I have an undyed one that I'll do something with. I don't know. Probably just a really deep black, because I don't think the black is like a black. I think it's like a heathered thing, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, okay, so let's get into whips. My first whip in my giant famous Stephen West bag is the Burdock Shawl. I actually did work out all the math, so I finished the main color with like 6 grams. I think I had 6 grams left, which means I couldn't do any more. And I think it only gave me, I want to say I went up 10 stitches on each half. I don't remember. I don't, my notes are not here. Because I don't typically talk about this unless I'm done. So we have started the so this is the end of the shawl. This is the bottom of the shawl, and then this is worked perpendicular to the edge. It is very slow going. It's like a 10 row repeat. I'm sorry, that's hitting the microphone. I hope it blocks out nice, because it doesn't really look like much of anything. It's just really slow because it's 10, and this has a lot more contrast than I wanted, so I'm thinking I might dip it into some more black too if I really hate it, if I hate the contrast. But I'm going to wait till it's done and see how I feel about it. So this is so slow because I really have to pay attention to where I am and what I'm doing. It's not one that you can just work on. It's rather annoying, and it's not written correctly, which is fine because you only have to ignore one stitch on the end of every other row, so it's not terribly bad. But oh my god, it's taking forever just because I really have to sit down and pay attention, because you have to go line by line. You have to go line by line and follow it. And I absolutely hate working that way. I like to just like work intuitively, and so not able to do that on this one. So our second whip is the Aran double layer hat, which I did start and I'm this far through. I'm gonna, I think, try to use up all, I don't know, because it was really long when it was huge and I'm worried this is going to be really huge, like really long. Like, I don't mind if it's slouchy and I can pull the brim back, but it was like double that. Like, I could pull the brim back all the way to the crown of my head and still have all this slouch. So I'm not quite sure when, I haven't even tried to see if this is going to fit right or not. If there's enough to try to get it on my noggin. That kind of looks like a hook. It fits. Oh my gosh, it's a miracle. It's a little tight, but I wonder if... Now, when I picked this number, first of all, it's short, so I can't really tell. When I picked this number, I had the hat blocked on my head. And then I just like flipped it over and then pinned it together so I could, you know, count how many stitches to take off. I'm wondering though if I don't want it to be too big. I mean, I can do this, so I don't think it's going to be too small. I think it needs to get a little bit bigger before I'll know for sure. But it's so easy, I don't care if I have to rip this out. I did recake them because cashmere is sticky. So when I was trying to pull it out from the... I was going to work it just from the hat, but it was too sticky to pull, so I just I'm almost at the end of the last ball. So maybe then it works up real fast, so it's not even a problem. So that's number 2. And number 3 is my DK knit top again. We're doing the other cropped version of the Uru yarn. This is from Knitcrate, Cotton Basic. This is Pavement, 100% organic Pima cotton. This is just like the purpley blue one. It's just grays, 2 different shades of gray. So I am almost ready to start the ribbing all the way around. So this will be done next week for sure. Yeah, I'll probably have this done before I work on the hat anymore, just because the hat's easier. And if I have to do the hats, I could do at all. It's just stockinette around. You could do it like in your sleep if you wanted to. Okay, so those are my 3 whips. Don't forget, I'm recording this on Wednesday, so the famous Stephen West Mystery Knit Along starts tomorrow. But this will be uploaded on Friday, so it would have already started. That I will cast on tomorrow. I'm going to start it tomorrow. And then I think I might do a separate like vlog style for that and not put it in my show, but do it separately. I don't know if any of you have any feelings about that, either way. But I know some people aren't into it, and last year I saved it to the end of my show. But I think I might do like a separate like 10-minute vlog every week to see, to talk about it more in depth. And maybe that will, if you want to watch it, you can. If you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. Because I enjoy it so much, I kind of want to give it its own time. So that's what I think we're going to do. So I do have squishy mail today, which I forgot to say that at the beginning. The first squishy mail is really cute. I have bought this before. And the shop owner sent me this cute note because I bought the same thing again. It is from theblueu.com. It is a Knit Keeper cord clothing set. Now what that means is, because it's a clothing set, this is why I bought this one. It's a clothing set. So there's one cord that's 60 inches around. So that goes for the body. And then there's 2 30 inches that go for your sleeves. Okay, because these are on one of my things. I think they're on the mohair short one. I can't think of what the name is. That had the ruffle in the middle, but I wasn't doing the ruffle. I can't remember what's name. So anyway, I bought another set because I love them so much, and like I'm doing more sweaters. I need more of those. The other thing I bought was from Whimzee Stitches. What's in here? If you know, he got stuck. I got a stitch marker or a progress keeper. I already have one of those from my other thing. He got stuck coming home from DFW with his car. But if you remember a couple episodes ago, I told you he had some hocus pocus stuff. And I said when he came back from the Fiber Festival, he was going to list them. And he did, so I bought some. Their first one I bought is called Witch's Brew. Of course, it's purple and green. I'm going to buy it. It looks like there's some gray down here. A little black and gray down here. I don't know if that's just purple. No, maybe. No, it looks like there's something there. There's something darker there. I don't know. I haven't opened it up, so I don't know. But I'm thinking of doing something with this. That might be like mosaic, something mosaic with this, with like black maybe. You know, with my black purple and green, right? Hold on, I'm waiting for someone to come get cats. Oh my gosh. Okay, so where was I? So I just got the cats. God, I'm so happy she came early. Oh, I'm cat free. That is my last kitten litter for the foreseeable future, because like I said, we're moving and no more cats, because I can't get anything done if we have cats. And I'm out of milk now, so no more cats, no more kittens. That hopefully was my last litter of kittens forever and ever. So if you've ever fostered a litter of bottle babies, you know how much work is involved and how happy I am that I will never have to do that again. So where was I? Oh, Whimzee Stitches, right? The other colorway I got is called Dead Man's Toe. If you remember, is an ingredient in the witch's brew in Hocus Pocus. So this is 75, 25 nylon, 437 yards. Standard a sock. Yeah, this is like black and, well, maybe gray, and some brown, some purple, some greenish. Very dead look. Very nice. Don't mind the brown in here, by the way. I don't mind it because it's like a decaying thing. Like it very much. Okay, so that is the yarn I got. I believe he still has some of the Hocus Pocus collection, so go see. I will link it below. The other thing I bought, and I wanted to bring it to... Okay, I bought a Fat Squirrel bag, which I have been trying to get my hands on forever. I'm really wanting one of her very big ones with the magnetic closure. Do you know what I'm talking about? Anyway, this was part of her Halloween. To put my I Heart Feral Cat sticker on. This is part of her Halloween stock update. So cats and bats and like cobwebs. I think they're cobwebs because there's no spiders on here, and stars. I wanted the one that was like, it looked like a stained glass archway. I don't remember what she called it, but that's the one I wanted. But by the time I knew she was doing the stock update, when I was watching her thing, I was already into it, and I was like, oh, this is the one of the bags left that I liked. So this is the only print that I liked that was left. So I got this one. Oh, I'm like, that's a thing. It's not. It's the print to show the tail. This is the large wedge bag. This is supposed to fit 3 skeins, and I feel like it's fitting my 2 with my Cash Aran hat perfectly. So maybe 3 fingering skeins, maybe, I'm not sure. It is not as big as my Allegheny Fiber Arts bag, which is my favorite zipper bag. I feel like this one is just a smidge too short. Like I'm going to zip my project up in it. The thing I will say about her bags, everything about this bag screams well made, above and beyond. Her, you can tell her fabrics are higher quality. The zipper even, she doesn't have the dinky little zipper that these dinky little zippers that I can never grab with my arthritis fingers. Look at the zipper on that. Look at the zipper pull on this. Look at this giant zipper pull. Look at it. Look at how huge this is. I have no problem. I don't have to put anything else on it to find it, but I just put this one on it because I like to grab it by here, by the wrist thing. I'm in love with the zipper. Like, it's the dumbest thing. I love this zipper. It's a muslin, unbleached muslin, I think, inside. These fabrics are so thick, like it's insane. Like I can look at what she did. She put down the zipper so you don't have the zippers up. I mean, she did too, but this is a smaller zipper, so not all of my bags have that. Oh, both of my two favorite bags I used to have that. So she does tack down the zippers, which I love because I hate having that the end of the zipper flipping away. I hate that. Then you got a hole in your bag. So I feel like maybe the size will be okay. I feel like it's just a smidge too short, and I'm gonna, it's like I feel like I'm gonna get caught in there, so I'm gonna have to be really careful. But that's my only issue. I feel like this is the most well-made bag with a zipper that I have, hands down. I just wish it was shaped more like my other bag. But I'm wondering if, because it's, maybe they are the same size and the difference is just that this fabric is thicker. I'm not sure. So maybe with a thicker fabric, I mean, it's wide, but I'm worried about how to keep my project in that I'm working on. So I'm going to have to be very careful, and I'll keep you updated. But I've been using this since I got it because I absolutely love it. That's black crowns. Okay. And this to tell you about. This is last month's dye project. I showed you this last week, but since we're on dye project, I'm going to show it to you this week too, because I like to do that for our dye project. So here's your recap of last month's dye project. If you remember, this was Vitellana Dusk, and it was in the colorway Sanguine. I had got it in an October Knitcrate box, and it was before you could it was in that little bit where you couldn't request your colors when they switched, and then you couldn't request your color for a little bit. It was a orangey red, and I did not like it. So remember, I had the great idea to try to solar dye Alpaca, and it didn't work out. So we ended up 5% ProChem's Washfast Black over dyeing those two skeins that were both kinds of alpaca, remember? And then we did 2 skeins of Surrey Silk, again at 5% depth of shade to make them both black. And it came out perfect. We did Espace Tricot's Bonjour with my modified neck. Now in my thing, you will find, in my Ravelry project notes, you will find the dye information. You will find the mods I made to this. It's all in there. I just checked. It's all in there. This is going to be so warm, and it's really, really soft. So I'm very excited for this. So this came out. It covered great. Really covered great. I don't think you see any tinge of red or anything. I don't see any red left over. What I do want to point out that I pointed out last time is the Surrey Silk does not give a much of a halo as the mohair. It does give like a hairiness, but not like that halo. See, it's just it's subtle. It's a subtle, but it's not at all like mohair. This is so soft. I really think it's going to be warm too. I can't wait to wear it. Okay. Well, I guess if we go through dye project, I might show you the other color I did, but I really don't think so. So I also have my die cards of my 3 colors. So I did black, charcoal, and spruce. These are going to be my Stephen West colors. So let's get into that. First, ProChem Washfast Black. Now, this base I told you is 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk, and 10% cashmere. This hates dye. Hates dye. Hates dye. And I don't know if you can tell. This came out really, really tonal. Oh, you got some right here by my thumb. See that tonal right there, my back in the black? I probably should have gone up to 4%, and don't think I'm not considering throwing this back in the pot with 1 more percent. I am considering it a lot, but I don't know. The weird part is, here's the weird part. These bits of not, what do I call the tonals? Resist almost did not happen at the ties. Did not happen at the ties, which is where most this resist like this, where it just doesn't go all the way, usually happens at the figure 8 ties. Did not with this. I think these were the parts that were floating on the top of the dye bath. So I put the 2 of them in the full size. I use my steamer, so my full sized chafing dish, okay, full size, which holds, I think, 2, 4, 6 times 8. 6 times 8, 64 cups of water, I think. Because I'm pretty sure do I make 2 trips? 3 times 8, 32, 24. I don't remember. Because I take two measuring cups that are 4 cups, and I do 2, and then I do 1 trip, and then I do 2 trips, and then I do 3 trips, then I do 4th trip. So there's 8 cups of water each time, so it's at least 24 cups of water, at least in the chafing dish. I mean, that doesn't fill it up, obviously, because I had to put the yarn in. But I think I added maybe another 4 cups after, if I want, because I wanted to do as full of an immersion as I could from. Do you think that looks bad? This is why I don't normally do 3%. This is why I normally do 4 on bare yarn, just to make sure you don't get this. But I'm kind of liking it. I don't know if I like it or not. What do you think? Do you think I should re-dye it? Well, by the time you see this, I'm going to have already, because if I'm going to re-dye it, I'm going to do it now, because cast on is tomorrow. I don't know how bad it is, really, though. I feel like if it's that bad, I can just come in with a fingertip sprayer and spray it and then steam it and be done. But I did want to compare, because my swatches are done on 75-25 superwash merino and nylon. So this is always going to get a more dramatic, saturated, bright look than most anything else. So yeah, I probably should have gone to 4, because this isn't really, it's not close. And I knew it wasn't going to be close, but I didn't know if it was going to go over, under, you know what I mean? Because I had never dyed this base before. So I really could have done one more percentage for that. The second color I did was this ProChem Charcoal. I did not mix any of these colors. They're straight from ProChem. This charcoal I did at 1%. And again, it's pretty tonal. We could also do another 1% if I wanted to up it. But I really like it. And I really like it. Whoops. With the black. See, don't you think that I think it kind of matches it better. The tonality with the way the gunmetal look, or the charcoal looks. I keep calling it gunmetal, but it's charcoal. Do you love it? So this is my main color. Here's my contrast color. And then my accent color is Spruce. This is from Jacquard. Now, Frost Yarns just told us that she got a big thing of Jacquard Spruce, and they had reformulated, and it's no longer this color. And I only have a tiny baby jar. I think it's a 2-ounce jar. It is literally like this. It's so small. It's such a small thing because I bought it to see if I liked it, and I love it. And the reason I chose Spruce was because I was going to go with Cabernet, which I love. We all know I love Cabernet. Red wine is probably like my favoriteest color of an actual color that isn't gray or black. Of an actual color, it's probably that if it's something I'm wearing. But the Spruce, here it is at 2%. This was my... So, 3, 2, 1. These are the ones I had that I thought just would really go well together. I thought, yes, that's the colors. Those are the colors I want. And I decided to do Spruce instead of the Cabernet number 1. This base. Hated Cabernet. Hated the Cabernet. Hated Fire Engine Red. Hated Magenta. I could not get this base to take up red the way I wanted it to. So I had to like try everything. It was ridiculous. So then I was like, I'm not sure I'm happy with these reds. Let's do a Spruce, because I don't have Spruce in anything. And I'm like, I would like at least one thing in Spruce, since I'm not going to be able to get it anymore. So I think these colors look great. I think it is really, it's the only difference is that the burgundy, which I have right here, the burgundy gave it like a warm tone, and then the Spruce just cools it down. They're really like the same, everything. It's just, do you want warm or do you want cool? Like it's like the same thing. I'm so happy with these colors. Even like this didn't come out, and I'm assuming it's the alpaca, because there's so much alpaca content that the alpaca is what led to the tonalness. What is that word? I don't know. So I figured the alpaca was the problem here in getting of full coverage, which is not really even a problem, because who really cares? For hand-dyed yarn, it's going to have some, the only way you can really get that is if you're dyeing the fiber first and then spinning it. Then you'll have more chance at having a more even tone, because you're spinning it together. Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to put those two in anymore. I feel like they're like the perfect saturation level of the green. So I think if I went darker on either one, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's not going to matter. It's more work for me, and then like, who's going to know? No one's going to know. If anyone does notice, they're going to be like, oh, that's hand-dyed yarn. That's what they're going to think, that's hand-dyed yarn. They're going to go, well, that's not made out of Cascade. That's a hand-dyed yarn. You know what I mean? I absolutely love these colors. I'm going to cake them up today and be ready to go tomorrow. I have physical therapy tomorrow. But after, when I get home, I got to start cleaning cat stuff. But after that, no. Eventually, I'm going to get to cast on this shawl tomorrow and start it, which you will already have seen. So we're at 36. Guess what? I'm going to tell you the second. Oh, did I tell you these? This is full immersion. Full immersion, you know what that means. Full immersion in my chafing dish. 3%. 3% Washfast Black from ProChem. So that means 6 grams, because it's 100 grams and 100 grams. It's 200 grams. So 3% each, 6 grams. Now, if you wanted to, you could do 4%. That would be 8 grams, which if you don't like this, actually it would depend on what base you're doing. So if you were going to do, what you can do is, if it comes out tonal like this, just do it again and add 1%. See what happens. This is ProChem Charcoal at 1%. So 1% depth of shade, 200 grams, that means 2 grams. 1 gram equals 1% depth of shade for 100 grams. So we had 2 grams, 200 grams. That means we go from 1 gram to 2 grams for 1%. We've been over this, so you know how to do this. So 2 grams for this. Jacquard Acid Dyes. I didn't look at my thing before I came in here. Jacquard. This is Spruce, which good luck getting it now, I guess. I don't even know how I'm gonna. Although when this was in the pan, when I put the dye in the pan and was mixing it, it was very obviously blue and green together. So I'm wondering if you just look up whatever this is. This like a teal? I don't know what color this is called. But if you look up the CMYK color, that's what I do a lot, and I try to get the ratios for the colors, because I use CMYK colors when I dye. So it's very rare for me to use a pre-mixed dye color like Spruce. I just wouldn't use it. I might use it to darken a green I already have if I wanted it to be darker. I mean, the black, obviously, I use all the time. And the charcoal, you get great grays from this charcoal. You get fabulous grays. You can also get grays from the Washfast Black. You cannot get grays from Dharma's True Black. It goes purple. So if you want grays, ProChem Washfast Black, ProChem Charcoal. This isn't even as dark as it gets. This is only 1%. So you can get bunch of different grays from those. So I have all the grays. I also have mouse gray from ProChem. Didn't like that, was too tan. I have all of the grays from Dharma. They are blue or purple. None of them are like a true gray. What was I talking about? Spruce, 2%. So since this is just 100 grams, our 2% is 2 grams of dye. All of these were high immersion, high heat, high acid. Yeah, like over 185. I had to go over one, well, for the other ones too. The one thing I will tell you about this base, Yarn Undyed, 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk, 100% cashmere. In the bag, when you take it out of the bag, you're like, what is this? Let me tell you something. After you wash it, after you prep it and it dries, which I didn't do that. I washed it, prepped it, and then just dyed it. I didn't dry in between, because I don't. It bloomed so wonderfully. It is so soft. This is such a decadent base that I bought this off another indie dyer who was downsizing their bases. Like, I'm getting rid of this base. I've got like 13 of them. I was like, I want those. So I just used 10 of them. I did. I used 10 of them. Should I show you the other ones? Should I just show them to you and not tell you anything about them? I'll show them to you and not tell you anything about them. So, like I said, this was inspired by La Bien Aimée. And can you tell these are two different grays? Oh, you could if I was holding them right. So this is a lighter gray and this is a darker gray. Can you tell that? Oh my God. See, not enough contrast. I should have done a different, like, the reason I decided not to use this because I liked it so much. I was like, I want this as a sweater or something. I was thinking a fade of a light one to a dark one. And then for collar and cuffs and bottom, we could use the matching red of the, isn't that just gorgeous? So these were done with charcoal too. I think this was 0.25% and this was 0.5%. And I think I was going to leave this 0.5% and make this 0.75%. or 1%. I know I wanted this to be the lighter gray, so I was going to do this to see what other gray I could get it to. So Alpaca does speckle. However, after I speckled, I wanted them to be a little bit longer speckles, so I sprayed them with water, which is why they kind of fanned out and were longer. I sprayed them with citric acid water to get them to, like, you know, not be actual speckles. Do you know what I mean? So I don't really know how, I haven't opened them up and compared them because I really wanted to get my other one once I realized I didn't want these for that. I just thought I didn't want it for a shawl. Didn't want it for, I was like, this needs like a sweater. So this will be a sweater. The yarn absolutely hated red. Hated it. I tried to do 1% Cabernet, 1%, couldn't do it. Would not take it all. So then I was like, okay, let's do some fire engine red and some black, which is also how you can make burgundy. Did that, did not take it all. Then I was like, okay, let's do the same thing. Let's do some magenta, deep magenta with some black, and try to get it that would give me like a little bit more of a berry color, because it looked a little bit orange, a little bit more red than I wanted. So I was like, let's try to add some pink and see if we can pull it to the, and I'm still not, how can I look at it? It's still kind of rust colored to me a little bit. Not as bad as it was, but if I, oh God, it's not even close. If I put it over the actual 1% Cabernet that I wanted, we'll see now it looks close, but it's really not close at all. It's not close at all, which is what I wanted, which is kind of why that's probably going to be a sweater or something, because it's not what I wanted. So anyway, that's that. I'm excited for what sweater. I'm thinking of pairing that with some Surrey silk, maybe some gray and Cabernet Surrey silk for collar and cuffs, and then maybe have Surrey silk, you know, a sweater, just a sweater, like a fade sweater. I still might overdye those. I don't know. Those 5 are all from the same bag, so those can be overdye black if I want to, but I think I just need to darken that the light gray. I need to make the dark gray the light gray, switch them around and overdye that a little bit. We'll be fine. This I think I'm going to leave as is because I love it so much. Yeah, I really like this. Very happy with this. So we'll be casting on tomorrow or yesterday, if you're watching this on Friday. So let's see, do I have what? I don't have what next week is. Okay, next week is an open episode. Oh, right, I said this is our last, October's our last fall month. So in 2 weeks, we will be discussing planning our winter projects. So next week, I don't know what next week will be. Maybe I'm sure it'll come to me the night before. Yeah, because we're not ready to go with that yet. Okay, so yeah, no, that's not going to be a show anyway. I do have some ideas. I would eventually like to take you through my stash, even though it's really embarrassing. But see, we'd have to move it to the other room, and I don't really want to do that. So, we'll see what next week brings. I don't even know. How am I this early? This is insane. Usually dye project is like 8 hours long, and I have to cut it for time. What are I talking about? What are you guys watching? I am not watching House of the Dragon because, did you watch Game of Thrones? I watched Game of Thrones because Jason Momoa was in it, and I was a big fan of his back when he was in Stargate Atlantis. I watched that show because he was in it. And I watched Game of Thrones because he was in it. And I even watched it after he wasn't in it anymore, because by then you're like emotionally invested, right? And I hated that show. That beginning intro sequence, the do-do-do-do, right? Like immediately gives me a panic attack. So like, I hated that show so much. I hated it, but I was invested. I named my cats after characters in that show. Oh my God. So, I can't handle, like, when my husband starts watching it, I usually go in my room and I'll start watching knitting channels. I'll be like, who's got new stuff out today? And it's Sunday, so like nobody. But last week I sat down and I was like, I'm not getting into this show. I'm not doing it, because they play the same intro music and I'm like, okay, instant panic attack. It's terrible, terrible. And then I'm like, who are all of these people? I don't know any of them. And I'm like, that's Skynet. And my husband like goes, no, that's the Doctor. Because we're both nerds and that's the type of crap we talk about. Do you watch? I'm trying to think of what other. Interview the Vampire started. I have not watched it yet. I taped it, DVR'd it, whatever. I haven't watched it yet because you guys. I've read almost all of Anne Rice's books. Like, when you were a little gothling in the early 90s, that's what you read all of her books. You just read her books. That's what you did. And especially interview Louis and Claudia, Lestat, Armand. That story was so dear to me. Like, even the movie, I didn't mind the movie, and I'll tell you why. Sometimes, first of all, I am the type of person that I love to read the book first, because then when I see the movie, I'm not confused at what's happening. A lot of times when I watch movies, I'm not a type of person that gets the subtext in movies. I think a lot of it, like, remember M. Night with his Sixth Sense. He went through and said, oh, we thought we were giving everything away by all these things we did. And I was by who we had the camera on and the red color. And I'm like, I did not notice any of those things. So I'm not the type of person that gets the subtext. Is that the right word? Subtext in a movie? I don't get any of that. But maybe because I'm a reader. My mother used to tell me she'd get up in the middle of the night when I was 2 and I'd be sitting on the floor reading all my picture books, like telling myself the story. So I've been a reader forever. So I think it's easier for me to get a sense of the characters through words. And then because in the movie, you don't get as much information. So I don't expect the movie to be the exact same as the book. You literally cannot. There's way too much information in a book to be provided in a movie that's, an hour and a half long. Hey. Stop it right now. So I look at movies and books to be, it's two separate things. So I'm trying to see this miniseries, TV show, whatever, as its own separate thing. So I just don't know how I'm going to feel about it. Like, what I like to say when things are redone, like Ghostbusters got rebooted a couple times, right? And I remember when they did the girl Ghostbusters and everyone lost their minds. And they were like, girls can't be Ghostbusters. And then all these men were like, they're ruining my childhood. Here's my thing, guys, and I want you to think about this when things you love get rebooted for a new generation, because they're redoing Lost Boys. There's going to be a Lost Boys reboot. Speaking of vampire reboots. The Maleficent reboot. That Maleficent reboot was not for me. I mean, it was terrible. It was not for me. Because when I was a child and I saw the original Maleficent movie, I got from that movie what I needed at that point of time. And because it's Disney, I'm assuming kids are still watching that. Like, I'm assuming they still see Sleeping Beauty and Snow White and all that. Like, I assume they're still watching those. I just assume it. So when the new Maleficent came out, it was completely different. And I'm like, that's not for me. That's for the new generation of girls that need Maleficent. I'm not sure it was the same Maleficent that I got. I didn't feel she was as strong or as terrifying as my Maleficent was terrifying. So with the Ghostbusters, yeah, those aren't your Ghostbusters. You already had your childhood. You already had that. That's yours. That is yours forever to keep. But what we want to do now is inspire the new generation of kids with these characters that we love, that meant something to us, that made us find things about us. So I don't even care that they did another Ghostbuster reboot. They're still a girl. And I don't know why it matters if they're a boy or a girl. It doesn't matter to me. I like seeing more representation for sure. I love the girls Ghostbusters. I love, what's her name? The blonde. Kate McKinnon. I love her. I am in love with her. I think she is fantastic. I think she's funny. I think she's magical, the unicorn. I just think she's great. I think she can play anything. I absolutely love when she played like Rudy Giuliani. Or my absolute favorite was the UFO lady that was getting taken by the UFOs. That was my absolute favorite skit. Those skits were my favorite of everything she ever did. Anyway, the point is, these things coming out, this interview is not for me. The new Lost Boys, not for me. It's a bonus. It's a bonus. It's extra content for us, but we already had that. We already had that to shape us and mold us and for us to go, oh my gosh, I see myself there. Or, you know, I'm seeing things I didn't think were possible. So I'm really excited to see how they, because I'm reading that they're changing the time frame a bit, and they're making Claudia a little bit older. I think they're making her not a child, but to like a pre. I don't know how that's going to work either, because that actress, whoever she is going to spurt. Right? She's going to spurt with, what do you call it? What do you call it? Puberty, right? Puberty's going to happen. Look at what happened to Stranger Things kids. They're all of a sudden are grown up and you're like, what? So I'm worried how they're going to do that. Having it not by changing the age, just having it, because they've picked it up for a second season. So having it at least 2 seasons, how we're going to keep the actual actress from changing, from getting older, from us being able to tell that she's getting older. Because in a movie, it's shot over a period of time that she's not going to age. I love Kirsten Dunst as Claudia. Oh my God, I loved her. So I loved Brad Pitt as Louis. I loved that Antonio Banderas was Armand. Oh my God, Stephen Rea was Santiago. Just like everyone else, I was pissed that Tom Cruise was Lestat, but then I think he embodied it. I hate Tom Cruise, but he's a great actor, and I always forget I'm looking at him when I'm watching him in a movie. I'm like, I totally forget it's him. Like, he becomes whoever he is for me. So I did love that movie. I watched that movie like twice a day for like a year because I didn't have cable. And it was the only VHS tape I had. So it would just run, and then it would run again. Like before I would have to go to work, I would watch it like once or twice before work, and then probably watch it again when I got home from work before I went to sleep. Because I didn't have cable. That was all I had was interview. And I ran out the tape, and one of my customers brought me another one because I ran out and the sound was going, because you go, rrr, rrr, you know. But I knew all the words, so I would just act out all the scenes. And so that was a special movie to me, but I'm not at all bothered that they're doing a TV show. I haven't watched it yet. I'm a little bit nervous because I don't know. It's only going to be extra, right? It's just going to be extra. I don't know. Have you watched it? Did you like it? We're probably going to watch it today, probably. Anyway. Oh, and is it Stars or Showtime? is doing a TV show, Dangerous Liaisons. Did you watch that movie? I watched the movie with Glenn Close and John Malkovich. That's coming out. I'm very excited. That's coming out in November. I'm so excited to see that. Like, very, very, very excited to see that. If you have not seen that movie, go see it immediately because it is amazing. You'll probably remember Cruel Intentions, which was Sarah Michelle Gellar and Reese Witherspoon and what's her ex-husband's name? Ryan Phillippe, Selma Blair. That was loosely, it was kind of an updated version of that movie, but I think people really liked it. It was very popular from what I remember. That was not for me. Because the original, where they're in France, and it's like, it's the 19th century. I don't remember, but they're wearing powdered wigs and they have duels, and it was back then a woman's, what do you call it? Oh my God, your reputation. A woman's reputation was so important. So I think that's kind of made it more dramatic than in the more recent, the Cruel Intentions. I didn't feel like that was like, oh, it's some cocaine, like big deal. Like the other woman they were ruined. Uma Thurman's in it too. Real young Uma Thurman. Who was the other? I think Keanu Reeves is in it too. Is it Keanu Reeves is in it? Who's the other? I can't think. Anyway. Michelle Pfeiffer. That's what I couldn't think of. Michelle Pfeiffer. Fantastic movie. You should see it if you haven't. Get ready for the TV show. I'm so excited for the TV show. I'm not emotionally invested, which is why I think I'm not like worried about it. Whereas Lestat and Louis and Claudia, I love Louis and Claudia. I love their love for each other. And there was a part of the movie that I did not like, but I understand why. This is what I was talking about. Movies can't have all of the information that the book has. So there were things left out of the movie. Specifically, why Claudia died. That was left out. And I understand why. It was such a big part of the book. Like, oh my God. But it was left out of the movie, and I understand why. Because it was too much backstory, too much explaining or why it was left out of the movie. You couldn't. I knew it would throw the audience off. So I understand why certain things are changed or other things. There's also a movie or a book I love called The Ruins that is also made into a movie with Jenna, what's her name? She's in the Katniss movie. And then the other guy from Debris is in it, but he's way younger. And it's about the thing that made me read it said it was like Jaws, but in the jungle. And I was like, I want to read that book. Terrifying. And the movie is also terrifying. It's different, but it's also terrifying. So if you like scary stuff, I would recommend The Ruins, the book, and the movie. Terrifying. I would recommend the book first because I was confused watching the movie. Like I was like, they didn't do as good of a job explaining. But I mean, they couldn't really explain things because nobody knew it was happening. But it was really, really scary and a little bit too gory for me. Yeah, it's pretty gory. I don't remember the book being disgusting. I remember it being terrifying. I was terrified of the book. But anyway, if you like horror, maybe check that out. So I'm up over an hour. So I'm going to go now because I got to clean out that cat room. I got to clean out and start sanitizing stuff so I can get everything donated to somewhere else and get it out of my house, which is going to take like 3 years. Anyway, I don't know what our topic's going to be next week. If you have a suggestion, please leave it in the comments below. I would love to have a suggestion for shows. Like I said, in 2 weeks, we will have the Planning Winter Projects, which is going to be great while I'm trying to keep up on the Mystery Knit Along, figure out what I'm doing for winter. Anyway, I got no cats, so I'll be able to focus on stuff. My life is going to be so much better now that I don't have any more cats. I'm about to tell everyone at Madam Milk, don't come to me for cats. I'm done. So, happy retirement to me. I think 7 years was more than enough time to give to bottle fed cats. I have saved well over 300 cats. I stopped counting at 300. And 7 years, stopped counting at 300. So, I don't even know what year that was. I think that was the 4th year I stopped counting at 300. I've saved a lot of cats, a lot of cats. And then we ended up with 2 of them. I don't even know how that happened. So anyway, I'm getting out of here. If you want to tell me what shows you're watching or what shows you're looking forward to, you can put those in the comments too. I'm all for what should I be watching? Feel free. Okay. I'll see you next week. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.